Sunday, everyone. This is Tasia from Chiron Divine Readings, and this Sunday I decided to do something a little bit different. So typically I would do a pick a card mini reading, and I decided I'm going to do a full pick a card reading with 2 options. And so for this reading, we're just going to see what messages Spirit has for us, right? So the overall theme is, what do I need to know right now? And I'm going to show you what the options are so that you can make a decision on which reading you feel like is calling to you, okay? As you can see, we have 2 different options. So we have option number 1 right here, which has the lovely rose quartz. And so take a look at it, see if maybe this is the deck for you in terms of getting your reading. And then the second option is this one with this lovely pyrite on it. And so take a couple of seconds, get a good look at it. All right, now, before you select, I want you to take a few deep breaths, all right? So first one, second one, and third one. All right, so now, option number 1 or option number 2. All right, now that you have selected your pile, we're gonna get started with pile number 1. And if you selected pile number 2, there will be a timestamp in the description box. So make sure you click on that so you can go straight to that reading, okay? All right, if you selected pile number 1, this is your reading. So let's go ahead and jump into it. So I hope that things are going well. I hope that you're having a lovely weekend. I know I am here in SoCal. It's very warm, although not quite as warm as it was earlier in the week. It's, you know, in the 80s right now, whereas before it was in the 90s and you felt it. So I'm glad that it's a little cooler, right? Okay. So let's see, what does Spirit want us to know? And like I said in the intro, it could be related to the spiritual journey, it could be related to your career, it could be related to your love life. We're just gonna sort of see like what comes out and take it from there. And just so you know, I will be offering an extended reading. And in the extended reading, I will specifically be looking at any signs that come up. So if you're a Sagittarius, Capricorn, Pisces, I will be pulling some extra cards in the extended reading for those specific zodiac signs. So we're just going to see which ones come up before I determine which ones will be explored, right? Because to me, that signifies that there is a specific message for you in that reading. So if this reading resonates with you, make sure you check out the extended video. All right. Okay, I think we've done enough shuffling. And let's see. So this is the Wisdom of the Oracle deck. So we're gonna use this to, you know, set the tone for this reading. Get a sense for what the Spirit wants us to know right now. All right, we got a few cards jumping out. So the first card that jumped and flipped over was a change in the wind. So possibly some kind of change taking place, things going in a different direction than maybe you thought. Interesting. The next card, round and round. So I'm sort of getting this energy of like doing the same things over and over again, right? And then what's this third card? Happy, happy. Okay, I like that in terms of like an outcome. So just to get us started. So recognizing that, you know, things will be moving in a different direction, right? So maybe you felt like you've been going around in circles. Like you've been repeating the same things. You've been, meeting the same people, having the same like karmic experiences. And Spirit is here to tell you, there's going to be a change in the wind. Like, yes, you were repeating some of these things for a reason, but understand that it was part of your growth. And so perhaps you've grown from that. And now you're in a better position to move forward into this happy place, right? So just understanding that, there is going to be a change in the wind from, this like round and round cycle that you may have been going through, right? Okay. Very, very interesting thus far. I really like the happy card. Like looking at it, I feel happy. It has like little rainbows and stars. I think that's a fairy. So, I mean, how could you not get excited when you see that card? All right. Very, very interesting. Yeah, I'm definitely getting like, there's going to be some kind of change. Like when I think of a change in the wind card, I sort of get the vibe of the fortune card, right? The Wheel of Fortune card in the tarot deck. So it'll be interesting if that card comes out. We shall see. And same thing with like the round and round, right? Because it is round and it's sort of turning at its own pace, representing fate, turning in different ways. And so I definitely see those two cards as being very connected. All right, last one. Okay. So let's see. Oh, this first card that really wanted to jump out is the Six of Swords. So moving forward, like I was just saying a minute ago, like, going through some kind of like karmic cycle or some kind of cycle where you sort of were repeating yourself, and now you're finally at a place where you can move forward. You can, you've learned, that, where you were is not where you want to be or where you need to be, and so you're ready to go forward. I like that. All right, so, the second card represents you, Seven of Swords. So I sort of see this as like someone escaping something or leaving something behind, right? And, it's definitely something that wasn't serving you, definitely something that may have been holding you back or holding you down. And so now you're ready to sort of escape from that. The situation, Ten of Wands, again, being in that space of leaving something behind and moving forward. The opportunity, the Fool. So taking a risk, recognizing that when you do move in a different direction, when you do take that leap of faith, that, there will be something more positive waiting for you on the other side, going back to that happy card, right? All right, what the universe is trying to tell you, Two of Wands, like you need to get out there and experience the world. Like you need to go and actually experience what you may want, as opposed to just sort of being in this space of like dreaming about it. Like when I see this card, like, she's looking outside this window, and it's sort of like, she wants to go outside, she wants to explore, but she's sort of held back for whatever reason. So if that sounds like you, the universe is trying to tell you, like, you need to get out. All right, how you got here? Four of Wands. So this could have been like a friendship or even a marriage. It's the Four of Wands typically can represent like marriage, right? And so perhaps you're in a marriage or you're in some kind of union that, maybe started really, really happy and exciting, and now you're sort of in this space of longing. That's what I'm getting. All right, near future, Ten of Swords. Again, leaving something behind, moving on. Like, this is interesting how this is all coming together. Recent past, Page of Wands. So sort of putting yourself out there a little bit, doing some exploring, sort of seeing what your options are like. And perhaps that was the change in the wind, right? Maybe you sort of like stepped, put your toe in the water and, tried to see like what other possibilities were out there. Like needing to take some action. Like maybe it wasn't a whole lot of action, but it was at least enough to get the ball rolling. All right. How others are seeing you. Knight of Swords. So others may be seeing you as, running away from the situation, right? And I think that's very fitting in terms of the other card that came out, the Seven of Swords. Like this almost looks like the same person, like leaving a situation. And so others, are seeing you as like running away, running away very quickly. Is what I'm getting from that Knight of Swords. The near future, Two of Cups. So some kind of new union may be coming in. Very, very interesting. Maybe it's your own inner union, right? Maybe it's a situation where you're sort of finally getting to a place where you feel balanced by leaving this situation. Hopes and fears. We have the Five of Cups. Maybe one of the things that is holding you back is this fear of not being able to find another relationship. So not being able to find happiness, not being able to find what it is that you had at the beginning, right? And so if you were sort of in this happy space of like everything was like really fun and enjoyable, and now that that's ended, there may be a fear that you can never go back to it, or you can never have that again. But let's see what this outcome is. So we have Four of Cups, the Sun card, Six of Wands, I like that, and Three of Wands. All right, so at first, the universe may bring you an opportunity, and you might not see it right away, right? It may be a situation where you're so focused on your current situation that you're not opening yourself up to the possibility of something new. I think it's interesting because, here in this card, it has the Four of Cups in it. So the fourth cup is what the universe is bringing in, right? It's just sort of this thing coming out of nowhere. And, you see the rainbow, and, it's just interesting to me of like seeing the rainbow here. Perhaps this is related to like your relationship with the divine, or like feeling more of a spiritual connection, or feeling more of a spiritual connection after leaving this situation. But definitely something that you may be ignoring right now. But the cards that followed were the Sun card. So finally, like, I'm getting this like feeling of like breaking free, like getting to a place where you can just really be yourself, where you can really shine. Like, that seems like a stark contrast to this Ten of Swords card, right? So here she's sort of like looking out in the distance in this sort of like this melancholy feeling. But then here with the Sun card, it's like, yes, like I have freedom, I have joy, I could just do whatever I want. And then getting to a place where you feel victorious, you feel like you've won, you feel like you've overcome something very significant. And then after that, you sort of get into this place where you can start to manifest the next steps, manifest where you want to go next, and what does that look like for you, and what is it that you need to be happy, right? And I think this card is interesting because it's Three of Wands, yet there's only one person in the card, right? And so it's really about this person balancing, their needs and their desires, and then using that to, sort of see what they can create with the world, see what they can create with the universe. So definitely some like co-creation taking place here. All right, interesting, very, very interesting. So again, that last card was happy, right? So, how could this not be happy? How could this not be a situation where you finally have some happiness, have some joy? And so, I think the overall message that the universe wants you to have at this time, or what Spirit wants you to have right now, is that you need to leave this situation. Like, you need to get out of it as quickly as possible, right? You know, you have basically the major cards that symbolizes leaving, right? So we have the Seven of Swords, the Knight of Swords, the Ten of Swords, the Ten of Wands, the Six of Swords. Like, if if there wasn't a like bigger sign, I don't know what would be, right? The universe is saying, like, you need to let this go. You need to put this behind you. You have to move forward. You just have to, for your own well-being, for your own sanity. You have to go forward. And, you know, right now you may be afraid, right? You know, again, going back to what I was saying before, like, maybe there's a fear that you're not going to have joy. You're not going to have happiness again. But the universe is like, I got you. You're going to get it. You're going to get exactly what you need. But you have to take that first step. You have to take that leap of faith. And once you do that, the universe will deliver on their part in terms of giving you the balance that you need, giving you the resources that you need, giving you the right opportunities so that you can be in a much better place than you are right now. Okay? So very, very interesting reading. I am excited to see where this goes because, you know, there's definitely a lot here. And I know I focus primarily on like a relationship, right? But this could also be related to one's career. Like maybe if you're in a work situation that just seems to be unhealthy for you, and so you're sort of feeling like you need to get out of it, but you're worried about, you know, what other opportunities are there? Like, you know, this is a tough market to get a job, or, you know, how am I going to get the right job that's going to pay me exactly what I need? Like, whatever worries you may be having, like, the universe is like, look, I got you. You know, all you have to do is take that first step of leaving that situation behind you, whether it's a situation related to work, a situation related to a love relationship, or even a situation related to like a certain kind of friendship, right? Because sometimes we have to leave certain friendships, or even, you know, our connections with certain family members in order to move forward. So however this resonates for you, you know, that's what the universe wanted you to know right now, okay? So I will continue this reading, and I will specifically be looking at, you know, there's a lot of swords and a lot of wands. So I think what I'm going to do is look at fire signs in general, and then look at air signs in general. So I definitely feel like there is a specific message for those of you who identify with that particular sign, whether it's sun, moon, or rising. That's my intention when I do these readings. So if you feel like this is something that you want to continue to explore, go ahead and check out the extended video for some additional messages and insight. And I will be looking at, like, you know, what blocks you may be experiencing, you know, getting some timing and just some general advice on what will help you in terms of leaving this situation behind, okay? So thank you so much, option number one, for watching this reading, and I hope to see you over in the extended, all right? You know, leaving on a very peaceful note. And sort of like with ghosts, I'm sort of thinking like ghosting, right? Typically, you know, you wouldn't want to ghost someone, but in this situation, it's like you really need to detach from them. You have to leave them, like, you know, thank them for, you know, what they brought into your life. Thank them for, you know, how they have been of service to you up until that point, and then leave and never look back. Because, you know, what I'm getting is that otherwise this will haunt you if you continue to hold on to that connection, right? And so if you want to be in this place of peace, you have to really leave it behind, leave all the ghosts where they were, and don't even look back. Well, hello, pile number 2. So if you selected the second pile with the pyrite, this is your reading. So I'm excited to see what messages come in this reading. the first reading for pile number 1 was really interesting. And, you know, just sort of just looked at, you know, what came about. You know, there were no specific intentions. And so I think that was very much reminiscent in the reading, right? Because I was able to hit on a couple of things, whether it was related to a relationship or related to career. Like, I sort of felt like, depending on who resonated with that video, like it could speak to multiple areas of life, which is good. So I'm excited to see, you know, how that comes about for you. And one quick thing that I will mention, I will be doing an extended video. So if you are interested, if this reading resonates with you, feel free to check out the extended video. And I will be specifically looking at any signs that come up in the reading. So any zodiac signs, you know, Aries, Leo, Sag, Pisces, Scorpio, just whoever, you know, makes an appearance. I will pull some extra cards for those specific signs in the extended video. I will also look at blocks and pull a card on timing and just general advice, okay? So if the reading resonates with you, feel free to go over, or if you are one of the signs that comes up in this reading, feel free to check it out. And it's sun, moon, or rising. So make sure you check it out if you feel like there's an additional message for you, okay? All right, so let's get a sense for the overall energy of this reading. What's happening for pile number 2? Oh, regeneration. Interesting. Like, I'm getting this energy of like, spring, of being renewed. It's like, you know, after going through a bad situation, there's growth. There's the silver lining, or the light at the end of the tunnel, right? All right, sorry about that. My phone decided it wanted to start dying as I was shuffling between two worlds. Interesting. Sort of going from like dark to light. And perhaps that's part of the regeneration, right? Part of the growth. It's like you go through this dark experience and find the opportunity, or find the blessing at the end of it, right? So that's sort of what I'm getting. The Fates is the last card that came out. So just recognizing that, you know, this is something that's fated. Like, this is something that is supposed to happen. You know, like I was saying before, it's like, you know, going through this experience and then realizing your growth at the end of it. And so it's like, you have to be reborn, almost, like with this regeneration card that came out. You know, as you can see, like towards the bottom, it's like this, almost looks like lava. But, you know, this beautiful tree is starting to grow with these flowers. And so what I'm getting is that you may sort of be in this space of this in-between space of like, where you want to be in that regenerated space, the enlightened space. Like, you want to be in that place where you're, you know, you've gone through the hard part, and so you're sort of in that in between, right? Going through it, and that could be very uncomfortable. You know, there's nothing around that. But I guess Spirit wants you to know is that, this is necessary for your growth. It's like you need to have this experience because of whatever's coming next for you, right? It's funny, like seeing this, I thought about the show Charmed, which was one of my favorite shows when I was a kid. Like my mom and I would watch that all the time. And then as in my 20s, they used to show it on one of the channels, and then I got to relive my childhood watching all of the episodes all over again. But the thing that specifically comes to mind is like that last season where, if you're familiar with the show, Piper's husband had to die, or he kept dying, and she's like, what is happening? Like, no matter what they did, they couldn't save him, and she couldn't figure out why they couldn't save him. And ultimately they talked to Fate, and Fate was like, you're about to go through a major situation, and you need the strength from the loss of your husband to get you through that experience. And so Fate was basically like, without having those feelings of loss, like, you will lose the battle that's coming towards you. And so they ended up working out something where, instead of her husband dying, they like froze him or something, and worked with some other mythical beings to make that happen, so that he didn't necessarily have to die, but he still left. And so she still experienced some kind of loss in terms of her husband no longer being there, but then working through this unknown thing that was coming towards them, like this unknown fight that was coming towards the sisters, became her motivation for bringing her husband back, right? And so that's what I'm sort of getting with this reading, of like being in this space where you have to go through this in order to get to make it over the next hurdle, right? It's like, you need this experience because it's going to push you further when you experience the next trial, tribulation. So that's what's coming to mind. And the first card that came out was Strength. So this experience is helping to strengthen you. It's giving you the strength to not only make it through the current situation, but to also make it through future situations, right? Going back to the Fates card. So, if you're wondering why you're going through whatever it is, pile number 2, it's to build your strength. It's to build resilience. And, with resilience, that's not something that you can learn. Resilience is something that you have to experience, and that's how you gain it. And so, going back to the story that I was sharing, it's like, she couldn't have her husband there and fight this fight. She had to, build that strength of, being without him in order to make it through. So understanding that, this is part of your journey in terms of, going through this fight, for lack of a better word, but understanding that this one fight will set you up for any other fights that come towards you in the future. All right, so the first card, you, Emperor. So I'm getting this energy of like, if you're someone who has their own business, and so you're the king, you're the person who oversees the business, and this is where you are right now. The situation, death, transformation. So interesting, we have 3 major arcana cards already. So it's like right now you are sort of in this space of being in charge, or being the head of something. I'm definitely getting this energy of like, if you're the CEO, or if you're the entrepreneur starting your own job, starting your own business, Spirit is like, you need to go through some kind of transformation. Let's see why. Opportunity. All right. Tower. So something needs to fall apart. Something needs to just completely get wiped away. And Spirit is like, this is part of your growth. Like, maybe, okay. So maybe you are in this position, like thinking about the Emperor. Like, the Emperor is very like stern, very like sort of grumpy. That's a better word. And that's not helping you right now. And so the universe is sort of bringing in this situation that's going to transform you. But in order for you to get to that space, like, it has to completely knock everything down, like completely start anew. All right, so let's rewind for a minute, because going back to the Between Worlds card, I feel like maybe this already happened, right? This Tower situation, this transformation, you're sort of in the process, and it may not be comfortable. So if it's a situation where you maybe had a business and things started to fall apart, and so now you're sort of in this situation of like, everything's falling apart and you're not sure what to do, right? But understanding that, this is necessary for your transformation. So let's see what else comes up. All right, the universe is trying to tell you. Knight of Cups. So what I'm getting is that the universe is trying to tell you to do something that you love. And perhaps, if you are in a situation where you are maybe in a job specifically for the money, right? You're like, this job is giving me, or let's say in past tense, right? If you were in a position where the job was making a lot of money for you, but you weren't very happy, and so the universe came and just took it out so that you could focus on your happiness, so that you could be in a better position to do what you love. Or if it's a situation where maybe you had your own business, maybe you were doing something just because you were good at it, but not because you were really passionate about it. And then, the universe is like, no, you should be doing the thing that you're passionate about. So that's what I'm getting with that Knight of Cups energy. Recent past, Star. So definitely some healing already starting to take place, which is good. Near future, we have Three of Pentacles. So I'm sort of getting this energy of like maybe working with others to create the next thing, right? So if you were in a situation where you were doing it all on your own, now the universe is like, okay, now you need to work with some other folks to bring things together. So it's not just about you, it's really about finding the balance in terms of working with others. Recent past, we have the Eight of Wands. So what I'm getting is like you were moving really fast in a direction that wasn't really serving you, right? And I'm sort of getting this energy of like, if you were in a job that, you did well, or in a job that paid you a lot of money, and so you felt the need to constantly do this work, yet it was a detriment to your health, or it was a detriment to your relationships with your family. And so it's like you were on a fast track towards moving away from the things that you really care about. How others see you. Queen of Swords. So other people see you as being very clear cut on what it is that you want, where it is that you need to do. And while that's a good place to be, you also should be open to other possibilities, right? If you feel like, nope, I'm just going to rebuild exactly how I had before, or I'm going to find the exact kind of job that I had before, then all of this would be for nothing, right? All right, next card, immediate future. The Knight of Wands. So definitely moving, but moving in a different direction, right? So when I'm looking at this Eight of Wands is going, this way, but the Knight of Wands is going that way. And so it's like you'll be able to, move up very quickly, or you will be able to move forward very quickly, but it's not going to be in the direction that you think it is. Hopes and fears. Six of Cups. Maybe there's a fear of, being in a position where you felt like powerless is the word that is coming to mind. Like I think about like with the child and a parent, it's like, you're sort of in this position where you have to essentially follow what your parents want you to do, right? Follow what your parents are telling you to do. And so you don't want to go back to that space of not being in charge of your own authority. And yeah, that can definitely be a scary place to be in. All right, outcome. So we have Moon, Six of Swords, the World card. All right, Nine of Swords, last card, Four of Wands. Okay. All right, so with this outcome, I'm getting this energy of sort of facing your fears, right? Facing the thing that, perhaps you're worried about. Going back to the Six of Cups and representing the hopes and fears. It's like once you're able to face your fears, then you'll be in a better position to move forward. Right? But you can't do that if you're sort of caught up in this, what's the word I'm looking for? Caught up in this fantasy of like, it has to be this way. And I think that's very reminiscent of the Queen of Swords. It's like, no, like this is the only way I can make money, or, this is the only kind of business that I can have because this is all that I know how to do. And it's like, no, you can open yourself up to other possibilities. Once you face, the thing that's holding you back. And right now it just really seems to be like yourself, just being stuck in this idea of like, this is how it has to be. And it's like, once you do that, you move forward, a whole new world, a whole new set of possibilities, a whole new journey that will better serve you. And will there be some some headaches, some things that scare you, some things that keep you up at night? Absolutely. But it's going to be a lot more rewarding in the end. So, this is bound to happen regardless. So don't try to run away from it because you feel more connected to its familiar, right? Really try to challenge yourself because again, this is a huge transformation for you. And this is what you need to, push you forward. And so, the universe is, letting you know, like, this situation had to happen. You had to be in this position where things just completely, needed to be knocked out. And for some of you may have felt like, the ground, was just crumbled under your feet, and then you're just sort of like, where am I going? But it's like those things had to happen so that you could be in a much more rewarding position. Okay, pile number 2. So, very, very interesting reading. We have lots of signs that came up here. So in the extended video, I will be specifically looking at Aries, Scorpio, Aquarius, Cancer, Capricorn, and Leo. So if this reading resonated with you and you want to see what additional messages the universe has for you, feel free to come on over to the extended reading and check it out. So again, if it's your sun, moon, or rising, feel free to come on over and check out the extended reading. Or if you just, want to hear what's coming next, okay? All right. Otherwise, thank you so much and enjoy the rest of your day. See ya. So just understanding that the universe, spirit, God, all did this to remind you to take a step back, to rest, to really try to appreciate the people and the things around you. And it's like, you know, it sucks that it had to be so dramatic and so drastic, but, you know, that was going to be the only thing that got your attention, right? You know, there was so much major arcana in this reading, and so it's like this is a pretty significant transformation that you're going through. And so understand that the brevity of it, the theatrics behind all of it, you know, getting to this point needed to happen. And so that's the part that, you know, it may be hard to take in, but it is what it is. All right. So this last card that jumped out, literally everything that I've been saying this entire reading